Hatha Yoga here, but that is what is true Hatha Yoga is. And pranayama, now there are many, of course, courses of pranayama. There's the Artha Living Foundation, Sri Sri Shankar. He has, repackaged pranayama, made it easy to practice. Both myself and my wife, we do practice pranayama, his technique, and it both has, unique benefits in our life, both physically and mentally. So we show, that India, that knowledge is still there in India today, and it's going to the world. As I just read now, that India is ready to become the spiritual leader of the world, that this knowledge is ready again to radiate in the world, peacefully, like it radiated, in the, before the Muslim invasion. It went all the way, towards the east. Buddhism went there, Hinduism went there, all the great empires were there, which still survive in Southeast Asia. So this is the idea of this museum, to preserve that knowledge and to show that knowledge as it was. Now, again people say, why build the museum and why build in Pune? Because I've got some land in Pune, so I want to build that museum in Pune. One, because, I'll tell you a story before. When I went to Pune the first time, I had gone for a program, an Artha Living program outside Pune. And I knew about Shivaji. I knew that Shivaji was great. He was a great Indian warrior. He was a great personality. So after my program, I had a few hours to catch my flight, and I thought I would go and see a museum about Shivaji. So after the course, I went to the city, and I told the driver, please take me to the Shivaji Museum. And he took me to the main museum in Pune. Do you know Pune? How many of you are from Pune here? Okay. It's called the Kelka Museum in Pune, which is the biggest museum, and there is not a single artifact from Shivaji. There's everything, Mughal artifacts and this artifact and that. Nothing about Shivaji, nothing. Then I started doing some research on Shivaji. Now, we in France, we have Napoleon. Napoleon is our Shivaji. You heard about Napoleon? Okay. You know that Sri Aurobindo said that Napoleon was a Vibhuti? Vibhuti, you know what Vibhuti is? A divine instrument. So Sri Aurobindo said, I like Napoleon, I think he's a great guy, but I never thought of him as a Vibhuti. So I read one day that Sri Aurobindo said Napoleon was a Vibhuti. And Sri Aurobindo explained that he was a Vibhuti because he was the first one to think about united Europe. He was the first one who had the vision that, Europe should be united. And indeed, Napoleon was a great warrior, he was a great administrator. Some of the laws that he made in France are still today, applicable, applied. Okay, he was a Vibhuti. But then when I started studying Shivaji, I found that he was a greater man than a Vibhuti, because Shivaji was, of course, an extraordinary warrior. He stood alone with a small army against the might of Aurangzeb, which was the most powerful. At that time, the Mughal Empire was at its peak, so Shivaji alone, and you know how he escaped from Agra, and you know how he stormed some of the forts, forts which are supposed not to be taken. And you know how finally he established a kingdom, from Pune right up to the south to Vellore and Zinji. So not only was he a great warrior, he was also a great administrator. Whatever he took, he administrated. He put his men in charge. He was uncorrupt. He never took any bribes. He respected women and children. Even the wives of his enemies. Of the Muslim princes, he would always hand them back, respect them. He was a devout Hindu, but at the same time he endowed both Hindu temples and Sufi shrines, so he was a true secular man, as a true secular type, not the type that is practiced today. Now, to come back to my Napoleon. Now, Napoleon, since the last 200 years, every year in France we have a book, 2 books, 3 books, 4 books about Napoleon. Napoleon, his war, his mistresses, his campaigns, every year. It's endless. The last book on Shivaji was written 40 years ago. There is nothing on Shivaji today. It's just statues. Even in Maharashtra, we did an exhibition, myself and my wife, on Shivaji. Beautiful exhibition on Shivaji. And we showed it in Bombay. And Sri Sri Shankar came, and Narendra Modi came, and so many others. We invited the chiefs, and they didn't come. Only statues. So I thought that first, I thought when I couldn't find the museum, I thought, okay, I got to do something about Shivaji. Such a great guy. He's a hero for modern India. the virtues that he, embodied, they're so needed today, non-corrupt, courageous, we have lost in India courage, Hindus were the greatest kshatriyas, in the world. We know how great they were. And on top of that, they were, they never bothered the ordinary people. Here in Europe, in the West, you had great warriors, but the poor people always suffered. Either they were enrolled in the army, or the armies would tax them, or they would, rape their wives, burn their houses. In India, you could have a war, and the peasants were still plowing his fields. Nothing, you know that. You all know that, no? You're good Hindus, no? Okay, so he was a great warrior, he was a great Kshatriya, and he's an example for modern India. So I thought I should do a museum on Shivaji. I should build in Pune a museum on Shivaji. Then the idea expanded, from Shivaji. Of course, our foundation fact, was started 5 years ago, and we have many exhibitions now on Aurangzeb, on Shivaji, on the Kashmiri Pandit, on Aliabai Holkar, which is being ready now. And we have many that we are planning, on the Goa Inquisition, on the Vedic mathematics, on so many subjects, on Sister Nivedita. So I thought, how am I going to? They are traveling these exhibitions everywhere, but one day they have to be housed somewhere. So then I thought this museum could become a museum of Indian history, because there is not a single museum of Indian history in India. Are you aware of that? There is not a single museum of Indian history in India. Indians don't care about history. What is the past? Here in America, you see it's a very young civilization, but every corner. I was in Boston yesterday, and my friend said, here this where they plotted, to do the Boston Tea Party. Here they plotted to fight the British. Here, every corner there's a museum in America. I don't know how many museums are in New York. Someone told us one day. 1200, 1300, amazing. It's good. It's good to remember the past. In India, nobody cared about the past. Okay, Bombay happened, it's okay, what doesn't matter? Chalta hai. Okay, we start again. Tomorrow we start again. Another year we start again. Okay, it doesn't matter. No. We need to remember the past. It's very important. So, why Pune? Because Pune is in central India. India is a big country. Now, as a journalist, you're supposed to be based in Delhi. I don't know, how many of you are from Delhi? Okay, I'm going to speak badly about Delhi now. About Punjabis and Delhi. Delhi is very far away from everything. If you live in the south, and you live in Gujarat, far away, it's cold in winter, hot in summer, it's a big bubble, Delhi. As a journalist, I spent a lot of time in Delhi. I met my wife in Delhi also. And it's a big bubble, all the same ideas, like in the air, you have the same ideas, and all the journalists, Western Indian, all the diplomats, all the intellectuals, they always, churn the same ideas, boring, people are just repeated actually. They just repeat the same thing on and they think it's their own. Oh, it's my idea, Hindus are fundamentalists. It's my idea. Oh, I found this, I'm a brilliant guy, but actually they just repeat the same thing on again. So Delhi is like that. So I thought Pune is central, it's accessible from the north and from the south. Then Pune, of course, Pune is the home of Marathas, and they're very proud people, still today. We showed our Aurangzeb exhibition in Pune. I showed it there are very big colleges in Pune, very, 2,000, very famous colleges in Pune. We showed Aurangzeb in Pune. I was surprised to see that they took it for granted. There were a few Muslims, few Pakistanis, few Kashmiris, the principals, the teachers, they thought it's okay, And the Shivaji exhibition also, they thought, oh, it's great. So my idea is in Pune, this museum, which is bound to face a lot of hostility at some point, will be more protected. So what I thought is that first it will be named after Shivaji, Chhatrapati Maharaj Shivaji Museum of Indian History. It could become Chhatrapati. Okay, I'll tell you afterwards, what it means in terms of name. Okay, and then when you enter this museum, first it will be Shivaji exhibition. So that will be its protection, because Marathas are very proud, and they will feel that, okay, Shivaji, our hero, is being honored,